Hello, friends, and welcome to Cricket Caviar. I'm stunned by what West Indies have done, what they have achieved in Australia. But let's go back in time. Let's go back 12 months back, 1 year back. What happened when West Indies toured Australia, and what was the reason that such an inexperienced side was picked for Australia tour? I'm going to discuss some things. Of course, this was a very young and inexperienced side touring Australia. It was going to be a big challenge because Australia are the World Test champions. They are the ODI World Cup champions. And I was honestly surprised by the side picked for West Indies. We'll look at the evolution of this side, how this side got picked. And there are a lot of names missing, a lot of big names missing from this West Indies side. Let's see what are the reasons and what happened 12 months back when West Indies toured Australia. So I just want to run you through the squad of West Indies. They had a very poor performance. You can see Australia win the series 2-0. Manas Labuschagne scored 502, and the highest scorer from West Indies was Craig Brathwaite with 196, and Nathan Lyon with 12 wickets. But on the other hand, Alzari Joseph was the top wicket taker from West Indies with only 5 wickets. You had some names here which are now missing. You can see Nkrumah, Bonner, Shamar Brooks, and there was a lot of debate on Nkrumah Bonner being dropped consequently for South Africa tour because apparently he couldn't play the bouncer well. His technique was not allowing him, or he was unable to negotiate the bouncer. Then you have uh, someone like Shamar Brooks, who is no more there in the team. Uh, West Indian fans, I would like to know more about Marquino Mindley and Anderson Phillip. They are also not there in the squad. So this was a comprehensive beating by Australia in this series, and you can see the bowling performance even with Kemar Roach, Jaden Seals, Alzari Joseph, Kyle Mayes, Jason Holder, which is a proper five-prong pace attack by West Indies. They couldn't get the Australia all out, and Australia in fact scored 500 runs, 600 runs here, and Steve Smith and Manas Labuschagne both getting double hundreds in this test. And even from the batting perspective, you can see Craig Brathwaite is the only person fighting. A little bit from Tegnara Chandrapal and Jermaine Blackfoot, who was the vice captain at that time. Suddenly he's missing also. He scored a couple of 30s. In the second innings, you can see again Craig Brathwaite with a century here. In fact, the 169 run loss was one of the closest margins in the last uh, 15 years when West Indies has toured Australia. There was a big change. Desmond Haynes is a popular name in West Indies cricket. He scored 15,000 international runs. He was a legendary opener when West Indies were a dominant force in that era when he opened with Gordon Greenidge and we had Viv Richards batting at number 3. He was made the national selector, the chief of selectors by CWI, and he changed around a lot of things since then. West Indies toured Zimbabwe next, and you can see Shamar Brooks was dropped, although Nkrumah Bonner retained his place. You had Jomel Warrican coming in, Gutekesh Modi coming in. So still, you can see there was only one test which West Indies were able to win, and that was thanks to Gutekesh Modi and Tegnara Chandrapal and Craig Brathwaite. These were the only three notable performances from West Indies end in this series. And in the second test, which they won, actually Gutekesh Modi took 13 wickets himself, and the paces were not that effective. Although again, you had Kemar Alzari, Kyle Mayes, Jason Holder, and Raymond Reefer as the all-rounder. Raymond Reefer, who couldn't play in Australia because of an injury, was selected for this test. Then West Indies went on to tour South Africa. Here it was that Nkrumah Bonner was dropped despite having the second best average till then, only behind Tegnara and Chandrapal, and inability to play bouncer and getting concussed too many times was one of the reason. Also, Ali Cathanes was picked for the first time in this test series, and Desmond Haynes actually gave an explanation that Athens is one of the young players who they want to invest in because he has performed well in the championship, in the domestic cups. He also showed leadership, and he was the captain of the Windwards at the start of the season. Again, in this series, you can see there was no notable performances except for Alzari Joseph, who picked up 12 wickets, and Jason Holder picking up 7 wickets from West Indies side. No batsman except for Jermaine Blackwood shined from the West Indies, and there was one good innings from West Indies side, which where Kemar Roach picked 5 wickets, and West Indies needed to chase only 247, but they went on to lose by 87 runs. And even the West Indies were in contention for WTC finals at this point of time. And Jermaine Blackwood fought with the 79, but no one was there to support him. Uh, s- in the second test, West Indies were able to score 251, which was one of the good innings from West Indies, with Jason Holder scoring 81. No further support for him, and despite Temba Bavuma scoring 172, West Indies were able to get South Africa all out for 320 here, and again good contributions from Alzari and Kyle Mayers, who were the two main players, along with Jason Holder. So uh, but unfortunately, they get 106 all out versus South Africa while chasing 391, and only Joshua De Silva is able to put up a fight with 34. Then comes the home series versus India. So West Indies actually play a lot of test matches in this season. They toured Zimbabwe, they toured South Africa, then they hosted India at home. And again, you can see there are a lot of changes in this. Kevin Sinclair comes in, Kirk McKenzie comes in. These are the two names that you see. Ali Cathanes is backed despite not having a great series in South Africa. And but again, you can see only Craig Brathwaite stood out as a batsman, and Jomel Warrican only took 5 wickets compared to Ravichandran Ashwin taking 15 wickets. Then comes the Australia tour, and very important statements are made here by Alzari Joseph. He said, "We are here to win 2 test matches, and we've looked at what Pakistan has done, and it's about being brave and being positive." That's what Alzari Joseph, who was the new vice captain since Jermaine Blackwood had been dropped without much explanation. And Desmond Haynes also said the squad has been affected by unavailability of some key players. However, we have had a very strong red ball program. Now, this is something I didn't know, that they had such a good domestic season, and this year's domestic season was won by Guyana, and which has unearthed significant talent throughout the region. That's what Desmond Haynes said. And what were the forced and unforced changes? Bonner was dropped, Blackwood was dropped. Holder and Myers, actually, Holder said he wants to give himself the best chance to win a home World Cup. West Indies and USA will be hosting the T20 World Cup in June this year. So he wants to give himself the best chance to prepare. So he's playing the franchisee cricket, and he opted to play in ILT20, which is the tournament in UAE. Jaden Seals was injured. I think he's been terrific in the last 2 years for West Indies. Darren Bravo, now he has accused the selectors of favoritism. He pulled out after he was upset for being dropped for the ODI squad versus England in December. And even his brother Dwayne Bravo had accused selectors of favoritism when Alec Athanaze and Kesey Carty was picked over Darren Bravo. And Darren Bravo chose not to be selected for this tour of Australia, even though Desmond Haynes was keen to include him. And Holder, who has been one of the standout performers with the bat and ball, was also chose not to play the series, and that led to a team with 7 new faces. And you can see this was the in fact squad for West Indies. You had Justin Greaves, you had Cavem Hodge, you have Tevin Imlach as wicketkeeper, Akeem Jordan, Shamar Joseph, Zachary McCaskey, all these new names. Kevin Sinclair already was there in the India series but didn't play a game there. Uh, Last win in 1997, it was thanks to Curtly Ambrose, Pfeiffer, and Brian Lara scoring a brilliant 132 before being dismissed by Shane Warne and Carl Hooper, scoring 57. Robert Samuel, 76. Sherwin Campbell used to be the opener then. and brings lot of nostalgic memories. When West Indies were a force to reckon with Curtly Ambrose, Ian Bishop picking 3 wickets there, Carl Hooper bowling his off spinners, and we saw Carl Hooper and Brian Lara crying. They were once maybe not in great terms, but these kind of momentous occasions makes you forget your past grudges. And uh, so West Indies started the tour with Cricket Australia 11, and there were immediately some good performances. Justin Greaves coming good, Kevin Hodge with a 50, Craig Brathwaite obviously with a 50, 251 they got, and even they bowled out Cricket Australia side with good performances from Shamar Joseph, Kemar Roach, Alzari Joseph, Akeem Jordan. They were able to bowl out Cricket Australia, which is a good side. Peter Handscomb is there, Teague Wiley is there. So they were able to get them out. And in the second innings, Joshua De Silva opened and he piled on even more runs. And Kevin Hodge got an 99 there. And it seemed Justin Greaves with another 41. It seemed that West Indies are coming onto their own. They're enjoying this new bunch of players. They're enjoying being together. And then what happened, we all saw, right? What happened in those 2 tests? West Indies fought well in both tests. I think even in the first test match with that 50 from Shamar Joseph, and then Shamar Joseph picking up the wickets. I think if not for Travis Head 100, West Indies would have had a very fair chance there in Adelaide. And then what happened at the Gabba happened. I mean, Shamar Joseph with an incredible 7 wickets in the Gabba in 12 over spell. And in the first inning, it was Kemar Roach and Alzari Joseph, and not to forget Joshua De Silva and Kevin Hodge's partnership, Sinclair's 50. So many contributions coming in, especially Kevin Sinclair with that celebration and the important wicket of Usman Khwaja. So many catches in the slips being taken, and it was a complete all-round effort from the West Indies to win this series. But what fascinates me is Desmond Haynes really believed in the young talent that the West Indies, the Caribbean region, produces and backed them by including them in the squad. And really, that makes me happy that the unearthed talent from the West Indies domestic competition and the red ball domestic competition is so strong in West Indies. That's been the revelation for me. Thank you guys for tuning in, and please keep following and subscribing to my channel, Cricket Caviar. Thank you and good night.